Hi, YouTube. I'm doing okay. How about you? I had a great day, actually. The sun was shining. There was a thunderstorm early this morning, probably about 3, 4, something like that. Lasted for a few hours, and we got rain, and we got rain the day before, and so we're lucky if we get some sunshine lately, it seems. Um, I was just thinking about um, how Satan tries me every day to trying my patience, to try and make me get angry. But um, it works temporarily, I'll have to admit, but I don't stay angry. And that must really bug him. Or somebody else say, "Why are you mad?" And I'm in like the best mood, so I ignore it. And it's like, no, I'm not going to be baited into that. But because that happened last night, and it's like, no, no, not going there. I'm not mad, and I'm not talking about anything like that. So I just turned up a video and started listening, and it was good. It was Justin. He was talking about oh well, let's just put it this way. I understand why he is called lieutenant. you know and I know he has Christ in his heart. So, um, yeah. So anyway, he had a couple videos, but the one in particular was pretty good, and I passed it around not just because it was good, but also to let him know that I appreciate that. You know, Out of anybody that's taken the time to stick up for what's right and wrong in this world, I appreciate you. So Doug was talking about how many of his friends around the little town he was born in um, literally died in Vietnam, just did not come back. And his number was almost up in the draft. Can you imagine being drafted into a war to go kill somebody? Your government's telling you have to do that? I can't. I can't even imagine volunteering, let alone being drafted. But yeah, volunteering would be actually almost worse. That the parents, our forefathers and whatnot, would say, "Yeah, I was in the army and it made me a man." Oh, did it now? you know? Yeah. You get back and drink yourself to death and wouldn't lift a finger to help another human being. That's what happens, a lot. So, because they're not capable of it. So, they're not capable of raising families. They're really not fit for society after they turn them into killing machines. Not really. They don't intermingle well, you know. So that's a fact. you know, Maybe not as well as they'd want to, but I don't know. So anyway, I was really thinking about how people that would even say anything or do anything for darkness, testing my patience, how you don't win like that, with me because I'm always happy inside. I get sad, I can be sad and happy at the same time. I'm sure everybody can if you're honest with yourself, like having a happy day and a sad thought, that type of thing. So, yeah, I think so. Um, well, I was on watching a video about Satan falling from AOC, and they take things so literally. It looks fantastical. It doesn't seem like mankind could even be involved in such a mystery. But I was just telling them, looking at things logically, like the term bottomless pit, when somebody is gluttonous, which is one of the seven deadly sins, and how those terms are used, but to look at things not just spiritually, but how God put Christ in our blood, in mankind, in the sea, in the soul of the sea. And the same with Satan, how he was cast into mankind. That's how he fell. He was an angel. He was made in perfection and wanted to rule over God. So God cast him into the sea of mankind. That was his fall. And other things like the lake of fire and the abyss. And see, they only go back Greek and Hebrew. They don't consider the Tower of Babel and how English came into fruition. So it would mix things up and deceive even further. So they don't go back to the base language of Arabic in a lot of extremes. And the word abyss is one of them, which with the lake of fire is 144,000. The fire coming out of our mouths, the sword, the battle that God gives us words to battle our enemies with and conquer them, and with love, not an actual weapon. And I was explaining to them, if you think of things more logically like that, and how Christ rises through man and how Satan rises up through mankind. And if they thought that all the Nephilim were dead, they forget that Satan was cast. He was set. Cast means to set into something else, like cast iron. You're making, you're forming. He was cast. He was bound to the earth as a man. So that's why we have good and bad in us, and that we need Christ in our lives because of that in all of us. At this point in time, every single person has good and evil in them, period. There's no debating that. And that's what that is. That's the spiritual war, not only within ourselves, but with other people also. That's how the good or bad spirits, the Trinity, works in us. The whole thing with God right inside of us. And so then I went on to say some other things that were logical, like, let me think. So yes, all the giants weren't destroyed in the flood, and technically and literally through Noah, more Nephilim were born, and the Satanistic bloodline was still in that blood, not purified, because everything on the planet was evil and good at that point, regardless, within mankind. We all still needed Christ at that point. So Christ and Satan were birthing through the generations. They were, the word, let me think of the word here a second. They were reborn through mankind, through us, through all of us. We all feel each other, so I'm sure we're aware of the parts of Christ that we carry within ourselves. You can feel it. So you're going to know when your Messiah's around you, or even through another person, because of the way we speak. And who speaks against us and who we're not allowed to speak against is a great big deal. Our oppressors. What gets me is I don't mind paying taxes for roads, but I do mind paying taxes for wars. I don't mind paying taxes for welfare. I do mind paying taxes for killing people. You know, there's so much money spent on wars around the world. This is just a game that they keep the people's minds busy with while they smuggle in drugs and launder money and do what they will with people around the world in every nation. They're all related. The top elite in every single country are blood relatives, very closely related, as close as first and second and third cousins, all of them. And they play these games with people's economies and monies and use them as slaves to benefit themselves, because it's surely not benefiting anybody around the world. No one. Not one person benefits except the elite. You know? So, yeah, another one of my videos where I'm all over the map, but it's maybe I can think of some more things I wrote over on AOC. I'm trying to make people realize that things are more logical, not as fantastic and mystical like the beast coming out of the sea, the monsters, um, with seven horns, and that type of thing. The sea, we're the sea. That's how the Antichrist rises, through that blood, the same as Christ. And the horns, those are like talking, like speaking what they're doing in a strong way, if it's Antichrist or Christ. Let's see what else. Oh, and I talked about, the sword and the fire coming out of our mouths, and it's not an actual weapon, but it is guided by God. If you ever notice, you'll have somebody like picking on you with evil, and they're throwing these words out at you and stuff that goes against your very nature, and God will just give you the words. Well, I've been really grateful lately that He hasn't let me lose my very close friends that I have become close to, because we think the same way, on the same wavelength. Literally. Looking at scripture more logical in how man would walk with the values and the morals of Christ, instead of the fantastic images of him floating on the clouds when it's in our mind, or how Christ or Satan dwells in our temple, in our soul. The good or bad part of the soul, that's the soul that Satan will lose. He will lose the ability to be in heaven where God sits. He will not reign there. He won't have that ability, and that's where he loses his soul. You see, and the abyss, the bottomless pit, hell, that is the greatest separation from God. And like I told them over on AOC, personally, I can vouch for that. You don't want to be separate from God, and if you are, that is hell. Your frustration and God gives you knowledge if you just ask, and if you think about things sensibly. But everybody's thinking like, if they think of Satan like with horns and whatnot, they're never going to picture that he's actually already in mankind, destroying the good ones with a human body, human bodies, people. The same with Christ. We realize when we see somebody that has God in their heart and they help another human being, that is Christ in us. So, I know a lot of you know all this, and I'm just, trying to get these people to look at things more sensibly and read scripture with their heart, and just instead of thinking the way fantastic. I'm not saying that there isn't a physical heaven. I'm saying heaven dwells inside our minds, and that's where Satan is in this world now in a big way. You know? And like I say, a lot of you, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it does help to hear it out of your fellow human beings that actually do look at things more logically than, taking it literal, like literally a lake of fire instead of the lake being a part of the sea that is the part of Satan is like a lake compared to the ocean, let's put it that way, in God's eyes. If that made sense, maybe I can articulate that a little better. But the sea being everybody and Satan's little part in the end being the lake of fire. The fallen angels, him and his buds, separate from God as far as they can get, is what they did to themselves. That's the bottomless pit. That's the 7 deadly sins and the 10 commandments broken right there. That's greed and lust and envy and everything they do. And there they will sit separate from God. I do believe that they will be taught a lesson. But if you think about it, if God didn't love you, wouldn't that be painful? If God didn't want you around, I mean, he loves them, but he doesn't want them around. It's just like I loved elephants, but I wouldn't want one in my living room, you know, that type of feeling. And I love my horse too, but I wouldn't let her in my living room. She'd fall through the floor. So, just some thoughts of not thinking of things so mystical and taking the mystery out of it with just logical human thinking of Jesus walked as a man. What did that man do when he was here? The same as any good person is doing right now. With thoughts of our Father, the Almighty, in our mind. And that's where we get that spark. And that's what Christ was. The Father came down through us and put him here for us as that example. But they've twisted it so bad with language. With the Tower of Babel, they went from the true meaning of Arabic into Greek, into Hebrew, into English to deceive. That's the only thing it is. Without these weird words that they put in there, like trying to figure out how the Nephilim came about if all the giants were destroyed in the flood, is silly to me because we all have good and bad in us. That's how it happened. They came full circle, Christ and Satan, through mankind, through the sea. So it seems so logical and sensible without thinking that somebody's going to float down on a cloud and rescue us when we're all right here for each other, So putting Satan in his place. So I asked if they would give me a response. They did say that they wanted comments, and that's how everybody learns over on that channel. So that's good. I gave them a few of them. Quite a few, actually. but still hell is separation from God. That's hell. So, and that would be any or all bad things is hell like. Even the bits that I get angry, that's hell for me. I can't live there long. You know, I'm always asking God to rescue me from a horrible feeling and keep me safe from having them, and keeping safe the ones that put that there so it doesn't happen again, so we can remain friends. That type of feeling, it's really important to me. So, all my friends know that about me. They really do. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. But I have taught a lot of people what a real friend is. You know, I'm loyal if nothing else. And I don't lie. So that kind of helps too. Really, it's simple. Ask God, don't ever let me lie. It's so simple. God, you don't if you do even little white lies, you have no idea how freeing it feels to not be disgusted with yourself and to realize if you have a bad thought come in, it's not you, throw it back, throw it out. It's simple. It really is. Like, no, no, not mine. I'm not carrying that chain. Not me. Not doing it. So I actually started a fire in the house, not in the house, in my stove today. It was like 50 degrees last night and I didn't, and our heat came on. I had it set on 68. It's really odd. In the winter, I want it set on 75, and during months like this where it gets chilled, I like turn it way down, even to 60. It's okay in the summer when the sun comes out, if it's like 60 degrees in here. It's, you know, then it warms up and I open the windows and everything's okay. But yeah, but tonight it's supposed to be in the 50s again, and it was sort of damp today. So I thought, I'll start a little fire, and the radiating heat from the stove keeps everything warm, warms up the whole house. So yeah, it's nice. And then I don't hear the furnace come on in the middle of the night. So that's nice. Well, that's probably all about that's going on here today. I just really think it's time people stop reading the Bible so like it's mystic and magical. No, it's not. It's simple. It's human. It's practical, you know, teaching us moral lessons. Whether people believe in God or not, and some don't, the commandments and the seven deadly sins are a good human example to follow, whether you believe or not. Maybe you'll have faith after you start practicing a few of them, you know, literally, you know. I have reason to have faith. I really do. I would not be here, walking and talking or anything else right now without the help I've had. So, and it's really true. Oh, um, let's see, it was yesterday. I made some more yogurt. You take some yogurt that you have from the last batch and heat your milk and put that in there. let it sit for 10, 12 hours. This was my best batch. Oh, so good. I'm definitely having some for supper. The acidophilus in it. And I like sauerkraut too, which is fermented and is good for you, but I'm allergic to that. And there's quite a few other like different things that I can't have that are like that. So yeah. I don't think dairy is too bad for you, depending on what you have with it. If you have like a ton of cheese on a pizza, maybe with all the carbs and all that. But if you have like, well, like take for instance, if you have a salad and put cheese on it, and you have a little meat and a whole bunch of vegetables or a hard boiled egg with it or something like that, the proteins and all the vitamins and the dairy all work as one like that if it's a balanced meal, you know. So it's like last night I had salad and hot wings, and well, what it was, I used they were thighs that were already boned and the skins were off it. So I used a little olive oil so they wouldn't stick in my pan and cooked them. Then I did make my sauce with the cayenne and I used crystal hot sauce and vinegar and butter, but not a whole bunch of butter like the recipe would call for because I used some olive oil. So that made it lower fat, and plus the skin wasn't there. And we had that with salad and fresh bread. So, yeah, and no treats. Some nights I'll make something for dessert, and others I don't. So, um, watching our intake of sugar and fats and everything, you know, balancing it out. And then, like I say, I have my pig out days, and then I have most of the time I'm good, So that's what I do. So, okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. Maybe you can think of more logical terms for things that we've heard through the Bible that they've tried to deceive with their words and mix them up so it looks like some type of fairy tale that doesn't even correlate with humankind, yet Jesus was a man. So if you think about it all so logically, it makes sense. You know, it's not a mystery. They're making it a mystery so they can make money off people. That's the silly and sad thing about it. So, okay, everybody, I do love you very much, no matter who you are. I really do. I know you'd like me too. So, yeah, I'll see you someday. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.